As a full-time busker, it's important for me to make sure I make enough money to pay the rent, bills, put food on the table, and live a bit, and put something in my savings. You know, adult stuff. If you have watched any of my busking adventure videos, you'll know that I aim for £100 per day. And I usually average somewhere around £25 per hour. It took me some time to learn the tricks of the trade to get to where I am now. So in this video, I will share 5 tips that I have found increased my donation and that made for more enjoyable busks all round. I also asked some of the busking community that subscribe to this channel to share any ideas they have on this subject. So I included these in the tips. Woo! So let's get going. Number 1. Have at least a 1 hour repertoire. 1.5 hours is better, and 2 hours I think is pretty optimal. When you're busking, you're playing to a moving crowd. However, the nature of most busking pitches means that people will probably pass you more than once. If they hear you just repeating the same songs over and over, they're way less likely to appreciate you. Nearby businesses and residents are much more likely to complain over a repetitive set, meaning you're more likely to be moved on too. A shorter set equals less chance of donations. Also, this is better for you as a performer. It can be difficult to find enthusiasm after playing the same songs again and again. An hour plus will make things way more enjoyable for you, meaning you can put your all into that performance, and that energy will rub off on your audience. Number 2, use an amp. I know that some places have guidelines that don't recommend amplification or speakers due to an increased likelihood of noise complaints. But a huge reason as to why you're not getting many donations is probably because people can't hear you. And if they can't hear you, they can't appreciate you, and they won't give you donations. Simple as. You need volume. Now, you don't want to be too loud, as that's just cooking up a complaint recipe, but you do need to be heard. I cannot stress that enough. Unless the place you're in is very explicit about not using amplification, for example, Camden in London, you need a license in order to busk with amplification. If it's just something that's on the recommended guidelines, as it is here in Brighton, just go and get yourself an amp. There's multiple times where I've been busking in a place and it's not been going so well. Then I've just turned up a little bit and suddenly the donation floodgates open, and it was just simply that people couldn't hear me. Number 3. Vary the spots you're playing in. Go to different busking pitches. Now, I know multiple buskers who do prefer to go for a one spot wonder, but I find playing between 1 to 2 hours in a pitch, then moving somewhere else to play a following 1 to 2 hours is the best way to make more donations. It's also great to give other buskers a chance and to share pitches, but the main thing is it puts you in front of a fresh audience. It's also way better, again, to mitigate complaints. You're less likely to be bothering nearby businesses or residents, even if you're in a small town and there isn't very many options for busking spots. If the shops and businesses see that you're moving around, I think they're more likely to respect you and therefore not complain. As well as this, passers-by will see you in more than one place in that day. I feel like some people see that as you trying harder and give you credit for it. Like, fair play. You're really working hard here. And sometimes I feel like I get donations just based on that premise. It's also really important, as you might be playing in a weaker pitch. You'll only discover this if you go somewhere else and try a different spot. Tip number 4, and probably my favorite one, smile, be friendly, and remember what busking is really about. As a busker, you have the power to completely change the dynamic of the place you're in. You can be the unexpected difference in someone's day. And when you're busking, you can see it on people's faces. You break into a song that they love, and suddenly they forget all their troubles. They look up at you, and you smile. Show them that you're having a good time. Give them that energy. Provide something that will brighten up their day, even if it is just for a minute. I've been told on multiple occasions that I've made somebody's day, and in turn, that makes my day. I also always like to say thank you when I do receive a donation, or even if somebody just sticks around to watch. A busker is easy to notice. You're definitely the center of attention, when people pass where you're playing. So set a good example. Show the public that you are a positive influence on that place. I think people really appreciate this. And it certainly will get you more donations than if you're just sat there with a grumpy face, looking miserable as a rainy day. Tip number 5. This made the biggest single difference when it came to me earning a full-time living from busking, and it's partly why I share all my busking adventures. Tip number 5 is, if you can, busk in different places. Now, you don't have to do what I do and adventure absolutely everywhere, but if you do have a means of transport, a car, you can get a train, a bus, then vary the towns and cities that you are busking in. For me, this means I have 6 to 7 local places that I busk in, making sure that I leave at least 2 to 3 weeks before returning to each place. I do this on a sort of 3-week rotation. I also like to vary the days that I return to each place. For example, if I go to Hastings on Monday this week, I won't return to Hastings for at least 2 weeks, and when I do, I'll go on a Wednesday. I find this is the best way to keep everything fresh, having a large variety of people see me. When you're playing in the same spots, in the same place, day in, day out, you're bound to saturate your audience. And you can't expect the same people to keep giving you donations every single day, but a couple of coins every couple of weeks. Doing this means a lot of people see you. So it's not just your donations that will increase. You're more likely to build a bigger social media following, and you're likely to get more opportunities to play gigs or events. It will come with a whole host of benefits. And it's great for fulfilling the adventurer inside you. So there you are. I hope that you find these tips helpful, even if you're not bothered by donations and you do not busk at all for the money. I think using them will result in more enjoyable busks. There are also other tips you might want to consider, some obvious ones like perfecting your performance, niching your repertoire, and working to engage your audience. But I left those out because I think, genuinely, these are things that will happen naturally the more you busk. You just need to get out there. There are a great community of buskers that subscribe to this channel, so please feel free to add more tips in the comments below. I make these videos because I want everybody to be able to live a life that fulfills them, especially fellow buskers. And the more we help each other, the more likely this can happen. If you enjoyed this video, then hit like, the thumbs up button, and consider subscribing so more fellow buskers and those beginning their busking journey can see videos like this. And if you are a true fan, turn the notifications on. I am August Radio Project. I make videos and they come out every Monday. Until then, maybe watch the one on the screen or check out the others on the channel. Peace, love, happiness, and good luck with all the busking.